Hi everyone. In this video, I'm going to go briefly over the Master of Science in Business Analytics here at UTRGB. My name is Moral Mukbel, and I'm an Associate Professor of Information Systems and Business Analytics, and I'm also the Director of the Master of Science in Business Analytics here at UTRGB. So today we are going to go briefly over what business analytics is about, what are the job opportunities, the salaries, and also how our program can fit your career goals. So what is business analytics? So I want you to pause and think about what comes to your mind when you hear the word business analytics. So before we get into that, I would like to take you through this slide where we can see the amount of data that is produced per minute in the internet. So as you can see here, for example, and there are more than 241 million emails sent on only a single minute in the 2023 year. So this tells us that there is a large amount, or there is an exponential increase of data that has far outpaced our ability as humans to understand this data. And as a result of this issue of exponential increase of data and difficulty of making sense of this data, a lot of employers and organizations have been struggling to find skilled workers who can help them transform these raw facts or data into useful information that can help them increase efficiencies, reduce waste, increase effectiveness, and at the end of the day, improve the bottom line, which is profitability, right? So as a result of this high demand from employers for such skill set of employees, a lot of universities have been responding to such demand by creating new programs that can produce and help train employees and new hires to be skilled at this skill set. So, for example, our Master of Science in Business Analytics was one of those that was founded in 2019. So there has been, as a result of this high demand, there has been new roles that have been appearing in the past decade or a few years. And those new roles that you will be eligible to apply for when you graduate from our program include, just as examples here, data scientists or data analysts, artificial intelligence specialists, machine learning specialists, big data specialists, just kind of to name a few of the new roles that you can apply to after you graduate from our program. So going back to what is business analytics. So you can think about business analytics as a measure that is standing on three pillars. One of the pillars is quantitative methods, right? That's statistics. And then the second pillar is information technology, right? That's the software and the hardware. So understanding information technology. So that's the second pillar. And the third pillar is understanding the business. So the business context where you can solve problems and customize your analysis and your solutions to solve a practical business problem, right? Using data. So if we can summarize, what are the core capabilities a business analyst or an information system or a data analyst can bring to the organization, or what it really brings to the organization, those are the four core capabilities that business analysts or business analytics provide, or information technology or information systems provide to organizations, because the business analytics expertise resides in the IT department within an organization, or in the information systems department within an organization. That's why a lot of people use those exchangeably, and that's why we are at the information systems department and we are teaching the business analytics program. So those core capabilities start with storing and retrieving data. So we have piles and piles of data that we collect about our customers, about our inventories, and those piles of data, they need to be stored in a very organized manner, and that is using relational database, for example, right? And relational database management systems vendors include IBM, DB2, Oracle, and Microsoft SQL Server, MySQL, just kind of to name a few of the major database management systems. So when we have that piles of data stored in this the relational database, then we need to be able also to retrieve this data using structured query language or SQL. And again, SQL is one of the top 4 skills that employers look for in a business analyst or in a data analyst or in data scientist, just kind of to name a few. And then after we are able to store and retrieve this data, then the second core capability comes to play, which is analyzing and visualizing data. So we need to analyze data by processing that data, by aggregating that data, summing it, adding it, dividing it, and pivoting it, just kind of to name a few of the processes that help us to analyze data. And then visualizing data. So we can visualize data as basic as using Microsoft Excel charts all the way to advanced Tableau dashboards or Power BI, right? And then the third core capability analytics provides to organizations is automating, the ability to automate data operations. So we use machine learning, we use in order to automate, or we use programming like Python, R, just kind of to name a few of the programs that can help automate those data operations. And then last but not least is protecting data. We need to make sure that privacy is taking place and data is protected for privacy and security reasons. So in the early 2000s, the World Economic Forum introduced this concept where they say data is the new oil, right? It's just like new oil, data or oil, if it is sitting in the backyard of your house doing nothing, then it is useless, right? The same thing for data. If it is sitting in database management systems and piles of data sitting in the database management systems of organizations doing nothing, just sitting there doing nothing, then it is useless, right? So the same thing for oil. If it is in the backyard of our house, we need to extract that crude oil. And we need to take it to a refinery where they can transform it from crude oil to useful information or to useful materials such as plastic, asphalt, gas, just kind of to name a few of them, useful materials that can be extracted from crude oil, right? The same thing for data. We need to extract it from database management systems using SQL or structured query language, SQL. And then when we retrieve that data, we need to transform it from raw facts, from data to useful information. And we do that by aggregating that data, analyzing that data, visualizing that data. Then it becomes useful information that can help us solve business problems, right? By increasing efficiencies, reducing waste, increasing effectiveness, and improving the bottom line, which is profitability, right? So that's why data is the new oil now. So there are types of data analytics. So the majority of organizations you do descriptive analytics, which is telling us what has been happening and what is the status of our operations up until today, until now, right? Or what is really going on right now, and which includes like what is the average age of our customers, what is the mean, what is the maximum, what is the minimum, kind of it is describing what is going on right now, right? And then we have the diagnostic analytics, which is telling us why, for example, the average age of our patients that we admitted in the past weekend was 22 years old, right? We need to go and diagnose that and understand why, what happened there. And then predictive analytics. This is based on historical data, past data that we already know. Then we can train a system or train a machine to learn from that historical data, so it can help us predict in the future, right? And then we have prescriptive analytics. So prescriptive analytics tells us what is the optimal solution to a certain problem. Having certain resources, what is the maximum input that we can use from each parameter, from each area, in order to maximize our output, right, with the least costs. So a lot of organizations, almost all 100% of organizations collect data about their customers, about their inventories, and so on, right? So 80% of the time of analytics, actually, almost 70 to 80% is spent on the data preparation, data cleaning of that data, right? And then 70% of organizations actually utilize or use descriptive analytics. So they reach to the 70% or to descriptive analytics, which is data visualization is part of descriptive analytics, which is telling us what is going on, what is up until now, right? So, however, the last mile, which is the last 30 miles or 30% of analytics, is more advanced, like data analysis here, predictive analytics, prescriptive analytics, right? Machine learning, artificial intelligence is in that area, right? And then, so 30% of organizations, they don't, or 70% of the organizations, they stop at the descriptive analytics and they don't utilize those last mile, which is very important, right? So where do our graduates work, or data analysts or data scientists who actually who graduate from our program? Again, when we talk about business analytics, we use that exchangeably or interchangeably with other terms. So a business analyst, data analyst, data scientist, machine learning specialist, big data analyst, and just kind of to name a few, those are the different names that are used exchangeably or interchangeably with a business analyst. So you are eligible, you are going to be a data scientist when you graduate from this program, because we have a couple of classes that focus on that: machine learning, artificial intelligence, right, and deep learning. So again, where would a data analyst work? So the majority work in information technology industry, marketing industry, financial industry, like banking and corporate industry, consulting companies, healthcare, just kind of to name a few. And those numbers have changed so far, because there is a large need for skilled workers in this area. So what are the average salaries? This is kind of a snapshot of what is the salary of students when they graduate from our program. And it all depends on your abilities, and those are averages. That means you can be way more than that, you can be less than that. But I have one student of mine sent me an email last November. She was still in our program, and I remember I interviewed her for the admission, and she had music background. And then when she started our program, she received a couple of offers. One of the offers that she received was Tableau programmer, which she learned in my data visualization course. And she sent me a thank you email telling me that thank you for teaching me Tableau and admitting me into the Master of Science in Business Analytics, because I just received an offer as a Tableau programmer, and they are offering me more than $100,000 as a salary. So this tells a lot about the opportunities that you can get from this program. And it is very broad, so you can focus on any area that you like and you feel comfortable with, and you get deeper into it, and then the sky will be the limit for you. So our program, so there are objectives or goals from our program. So after you graduate from our Master of Science in Business Analytics, again, the roles that you will apply, they are not only business analyst or data analyst or data scientist or machine learning specialist or big data specialist. You will be able to apply to several of those titles, right? So when you graduate from our program, you will be able to solve business problems, not limited only to certain industries, because the skills that you will learn in our program are transferable. So, for example, you took one health analytics course in our program. So the concepts, the skills that you will learn in that program can be transferable to a financial industry, to a consulting industry, to an IT industry. So they are not limited to a certain industry. But what is important is solving problems and business problems. So the second goal is you will be able to master current edge information systems and analytical tools. Again, the top 4 analytical tools that data analysts or data scientists are required to have includes Python, R, SQL, and Tableau or Power BI. Those are the 4 uh, skills that are highly required from graduates from any program, and we cover those in our program. Again, R and Python, they are open source software, so they are free and they are very powerful. And understanding those will enable you to use any proprietary software like SPSS, IBM SPSS Modeler, or SAS, or any of those other GUI software. And then Tableau, we will provide you with licenses. As long as you have a .edu email with us, you will be able to renew that license, and we will get you into Tableau as well as SQL. So third, you will be able to solve business problems with data mining, text mining, machine learning, social analytics, enterprise analytics. So we hear a lot about machine learning. And so what does machine learning mean? So from its name, it means that the machine learns. We train the machine to learn from historical data so it can understand the patterns, and then it can help us solve problems based on what it learned, right? So in terms of machine learning, we have supervised learning and we have unsupervised learning. So supervised learning or supervised machine learning is when we have a target variable that we already know from the past. So for example, defaulting on a loan, right? That's the outcome variable that we already know from the bank. If I am from the past, if I am a bank, for example, I already know the customers who applied for a loan. I know their characteristics, for example, their age, their gender, their level of education, where they lived, how many cars they owned, how much their credit score, and so on, right? A lot of features or characteristics about them. We call them features, right? Or variables. So those are predictive variables. We already know them from the past, right? And we already know if they defaulted or not in the past. So now we feed or we train the machine based on that historical data so it can learn the patterns, right? And the trends from that data set. So now when we have a new customer, it will tell us, I say that I have a new customer and I will plug in the characteristics that I used and the most important characteristics that were used in my model. Like we call that feature selection, right? Or feature reduction. Then I plug them into my model or the model that I trained. And then it will spit out for me the probability that this customer will default or not, right? Then as a bank, I will be able to make decisions, right? Important decisions. So if this customer that who applied for a loan has high probability of default, then I can either deny that application or charge them higher interest rate, right? So that's kind of how we can help businesses mitigate risks, right? And improve their profitability, right? So that's an example of what we call it here, supervised learning. So we have also unsupervised learning. This is when we don't have a target variable and we don't know so we don't have a target variable. We just throw the data set into the machine learning and we want it to learn something and tell us something that will be beneficial, right? So examples of unsupervised learning includes clustering. It includes the association rules, which is market basket analysis, right? So talking about market basket analysis or association rules, so there is a supercenter in the Midwest region of the United States, right? And conducted an association rule machine learning analysis or unsupervised machine learning analysis in their supercenter. And they found out that actually the sales of baby diapers was associated with the sales of beer, right? So before I get into that, so what do we mean here by market basket analysis? So we all use that when you go to, for example, to Amazon and you buy a product, then you will get a recommendation or will tell you people who bought this product also bought this product. Or when we watch a movie on Netflix, right? We will watch a movie and then they will say, people who watch similar people who watch this movie also watch this other movie. So it's kind of, you can say, recommendation system, right? So this, going back to the supercenter example, they conducted this association rule analysis and they found out the sales of baby diapers is associated with the sales of beer. So that's kind of strange, right? What is the relation between baby diapers and the sales of beer? So they conducted diagnostic analytics. So they interviewed a couple of those customers who bought those two products together. And then they found out that the majority of those people who bought baby diaper, they were new parents or just had new babies, right? And they used to go after work to a bar to drink and have fun. And now they have a new baby, so they decided to go and to stay with the baby. So they bought the baby diaper, they grabbed a pack of beer, and they can drink at home while they are playing and watching their kids, right? So that's a very interesting analysis, very interesting finding. But what is really important is how we can monetize this finding, how we can transform it to profitability. So the way to monetize this finding is they recommended for the managers of those superstores to place the beer aisle very close to the baby diaper aisle or location. So this story is not about Walmart, but I want you to take this. When you go to Walmart, go and search for the baby diaper location, which is actually in the back wall. I know that because I had a baby. So you go to the back wall and you will find the baby diapers. And then to your right side, you will see an aisle that has the beer and the alcohol. And as a result of this placement, so for that supercenter, the sales of both products were exponential. So this is what how analytics can improve profitability and help organizations profit, right? And increase profitability. So those are just some of the examples that I can provide to you in this short time of the presentation, but you will learn a lot when you get into the program, and you will learn about different ways how you can transform organizations and improve profitability of organizations using analytics. So the fourth outcome from this program is you will be skilled in data selection, data collection, data preparation, again, data preparation that and data cleaning that takes 70% of the time of any analysis, right? Storage and data visualization. So I teach data visualization course and using Tableau in that course. So you will be well skilled and well trained in that. So last but not least, you will be able to effectively and persuasively communicate your data information conclusion or informed conclusion. So I met with several employers like Accenture, those consulting companies, and they were emphasizing the storytelling aspect and skills of graduates from programs like ours, right? They call it data translators or data storytellers, right? We need, well, it's not enough that we build the best uh, prediction model, for example, or optimization model or prescriptive model, but it is very important that we tell the story in a meaningful way to those who might not be in understanding our jargon, right? We need to simplify it and present it in a very simple way. So I want to go through this kind of data life cycle, you can say, of a data analyst, or right, of a data analysis. So we start from the bottom up. First, we start from the top. First, we need to have a goal that we want, a problem that we want to solve. So for example, here, we want to detect fraud in a hospital, right, in a healthcare system. So then we go from the bottom up. So for that one, we need to collect data. We need to collect data from different sources, and internal as well as external. We need to integrate those data sources, this data that comes from different sources, and we use what we call it ETL, extract, transform, and load, in order to integrate those different sources into something we call it data warehouse or a data mart, right? So then this data will be cleaned, ready for us. Then we need to make sure that it is secured. Then we can run our analysis. We can run ad hoc queries using SQL. We can create dashboards. We can create reports and business intelligence from it. We can do predictive analytics. We can do visualization and simulation based on that to solve that problem, right? So those are just an example of data analysis lifecycle. So the software that you will learn in our program, again, I mentioned those 4 skill sets that are sought after are Python, SQL, and visualization like Tableau. So, and then again, in addition to that, you have Excel. Excel is a tool that is used by major companies. No matter what that company is, they still utilize Excel. So we have actually created one course dedicated to advanced Excel in our program. So this is the MBA, the MSBA curriculum, and we have core courses. The courses that don't start with a star, those are core courses. So if you are taking the full degree, then you will need to take 11 courses. That means 33 credit hours. And again, those courses are offered. So you will take 2 courses every 7 weeks. We call it accelerated program. Every 7 weeks, you will take 2 courses that will be full-time. You can take 1 course to be part-time. We don't actually mind that. It's up to you. And again, this program was developed with full-time employees in mind, right? So we know that you are already working full-time, and taking part-time degree might work best for you. That way you can give this degree the best of your time, right? And get the best out of it, right? So that's one thing. So we have core courses, and you will notice that our courses, they are very well designed for a data analyst. We don't recycle any of the classes like other programs where they use, for example, marketing class or management course or accounting course, and they just add it here, recycle it into the MSBA program. For us, we designed this program specifically for the MSBA program, right? And then we have elective courses that you can take 3 of those elective courses for your degree. And we also have a concentration in healthcare analytics. So in healthcare analytics, you will have prescribed elective courses, which will be healthcare analytics, tools, methods, managing healthcare analytics, and health computer information systems. Those are the 3 prescribed courses if you decided to do concentration in healthcare. But if you are not interested in a concentration, you can take any of those 3 courses, right? And this is, I will send you actually, when you get admitted into the program, I will send you a Word document, and I will ask you to fill out this degree plan in the notes to tell me which module you plan to take each of the courses. That way you know how long it is gonna take you to graduate. We also have certificates, but we can talk about that later. If you have more, if you need more information about that, we can talk about it later. But how to apply? You can go to utrgv.edu/grad apply. So you can apply for our program. It is accelerated Master of Science in Business Analytics, right? And then you will actually there is no application fee, luckily, in this our program. And what is required for the MSBA application? All academic transcripts from your undergrad, or if you have taken grad classes, so all academic transcripts from previous institutions, one letter of recommendation, and GRE and GMAT waiver is available. So if you don't have it, still apply, and let me have a look at it. Because we requested a waiver for GMAT, and we are still pending, waiting for that. Hopefully it will be approved soon. So if you don't have GMAT, still apply, and we will definitely let you know. So this is how the application, when you apply, this is how it will look like. And then you will have self-serve where you can apply, and then you can always come back and upload more information and get to check the status of your application through this system, through this website, right? So the cost of attendance, it is the same for in-state as well as for out-of-state students, so it should not be a problem. Even international students will still pay this amount because this is an 100% online program. And this is our contact information. So this is my contact information here. And this is Maria, she's our office assistant here at the MSBA program. And you can also email us at the MSBA program. And Grad Central, also Graduate College, they are very helpful. If you have any questions, you can contact them. So I will stop here. And if you have any questions, again, this is our contact information. And we look forward to hearing from you and seeing you in our classes.